Hello, my name is David. I'm a software developer, and one of the open source projects that I work on is a game client called Parthia. It connects up to an old text game called The Eternal City, and I'm going to cover a user interface or graphical elements of the client today. So just starting off with the help system with it. Um, I know I've mentioned this many times in some of the other videos, but if you type in Parthia, it will display a list of client settings for this. Or if you just type in help and then help client, it will list all of these different types of help commands you can have. So there's Parthia. Display is actually just is a shorthand for Parthia display. So if I were to type in the word display, it would bring up the exact same items as Parthia display. So here, oh, the like, yeah, even same order. But so here, I'm just going to wind up using the display just so we have a shorter method. So if I were just to go in, start going into some of the items, if I were to type in display clear, it's going to clear out everything that is on the screen. As you're going through and you're using any of the help systems, anything highlighted in blue is clickable. So there I clicked it. And then with this, if I then am to go into resizing these windows, so these windows on the right, uh, technically even upper sides, they can all be resized. The way that they wind up resizing is there's a very, very faint, can tech, technically you can see it, but it is terribly faint that at the seam of these windows, where these windows all they connect, there's an arrow, and when you mouse over it, you get that tooltip that basically tells you can drag. So if I right click, I can actually drag to change the size of these windows. And I can do the same with the left hand side. And that's what you do to change the sizes of the windows. And in fact, the one here at the top, it's the middle. So if you want to be able to drag that, and actually, you know what? That's right. Yeah, the one at the bottom, you can drag that guy around as well. So that way, if you want to be able to, yeah, I was gonna say that one is a little bit more buggy, the bottom bar, because it's gonna wind up taking some dead space up. But and then if you also another item that you can do within the client is you can actually add and remove windows in the right or left hand sides of this. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump ahead and I'm going to cover resetting. So I've got changes I don't really like. So if I type in any time, if I type display reset or click display reset, it's going to take me back to factory defaults for the display settings. So I'm back at factory resets. So now I'm going to go through how to add and remove windows from the left and right sides. So if I go through here, is I'm going to be able to have methods to add windows in the left and right hand sides of the screens. And here you'll be able to see all the windows that are actually available for us to add or remove. So if I go to, just say disable, if I want to see about got automations, I'm going to find automations here, display window, disable automations. I can type that. I'm too lazy, so I'm going to click it. And you'll see here automations actually disappeared. But if I go back up and I click enable, automations reappears again. And I can wind up doing this with any of the windows that appear. Oh, you know what? Automations is stable. Enable window automation, bottom left. And oh yeah, and communications default location is just going to be there at the top, so you can disable communications. But if you when you re-enable it, it's going to be always there at the bottom. And I do believe status bar winds up doing the same as well. The rest of them can be moved except for communications and the status bar. But here, there's the Parthia map. If you haven't seen it, there is a video that kind of covers that mapping system. I would kind of I would kind of consider it. I would definitely consider it an alpha state, like barely out of proof of concept. It does definitely function, but I won't go into that. So with it, there are going to be some of these items that are already included within other windows. So there's going to be there's going to be two windows that are basically multi-type windows. So the multi window just kind of has everything in it. And then this one is room. I think it's called like it's like room, yeah, room compass and macro. So it's got those three, um, which are intended to be used with like the status. This was specifically made for the default display layout. So you can go through and if like let's say if you wanted a big compass, you could enable the compass. Um, we've already got tech map there. If you wanted one that's just macros, you could go through and enable one that's just macros. And then you could go through and if you didn't like them, you could go through and just simply disable them again. You could disable pretty much everything here. So and then if you made changes you don't like, you just go through just like reset, go back to the defaults. All of these windows can be dragged. So if you can see as you move your mouse over them, you'll get the tooltip. You could move them there, but you could also move them like across the screen. Um, I don't believe, I don't think I can drag them in the middle. Yeah, I have that disabled. It looked really bad if you tried to drag them in the middle, like unusably bad. So that way, if you want to kind of swap stuff around, you can. And it's so that way, if you want to be able to use them in different locations. So another item is you can actually the images that are used in the background. You can actually exchange those guys out. I accidentally dragged up, so I'm going to go drag all the way down here, and we'll see if I remember how to do it. It's been quite a long time. So it's basically this is actually going to tell me areas where I can swap out images. So I'm going to just use the map because that's got a nice big like area behind it. So let's see. I'm gonna go image for deep bars. Should be one map background. So this is gonna list all the images that I can actually go through and exchange the map background out with. I could run this command to change them out, but I'm just gonna click it because it's way easier to go through and click it. Mountain at the desk. So there's the desk. We're gonna use the desk there as the default for now. And then let's say I didn't like those images and I wanted to add something else. I could actually just go. I could click this display images map background add to be able to actually open up a window. And what it's going to do, it's actually going to open up a window. And offhand, I know for sure you can support SVGs and JPGs. Um, and I was just gonna say, I'm betting you can support PNGs. Um, you could probably support a GIF. I bet you animations do not work though. But we do know those three types, they do positively function. I have actually already gone through and I have tested those. So if you wanted to add to the standard backgrounds, you can add something here, and what'll happen, it's going to show up in this list. Uh, this list. That's just the saves. So this list here, and then you can simply click it, and it'll swap out that background for you. And all the other items they can be swapped out this way as well. So if I quickly go through here, if I go display images, let's find the compass. Yeah, let's find the compass. And compass has fewer things. Yeah. Oh, you know what? That compass overlay is going to be the compass overlay gold. I'm gonna see here if I can re-enable the compass window itself. Display window lists. Scroll down. Applications and enable compass. It's not going to show up in the multi windows because I don't have it. I didn't bother to set it up. But if you change out the compass overlay, you can just change out with the two types there for the compass. If somebody actually thinks they would ever use it, um, open up a feature request, and I will swap that out. Anyone at all opens up a feature request, I'll add it so all the multi windows can swap it out just like the main compass can as well. And then one other last thing with images I'm going to point out is if I go images list. Oh, you know what? And here's the background for the compass because you can exchange out the background as well. And once again, if you want it to swap out on the background for the multis, open up a feature request. I'd be happy to add that feature on for anybody at all. Um, so the one other thing I'll point out is the status bars. You can actually change both the background and the foreground of the status bar. So let's say red stripes. I'm changing out I have the health bar selected, so you can kind of go through and change it out with whatever way you want to. I think I might even have like a rainbow in there. Gray gradient, yeah, there's a good one for any people who have vision issues. Um, Green cloth, that would actually kind of looks nice. But rainbow clouds, that's the one I was thinking of. So that way you could go through and really confuse yourself and just make them all rainbow. You got no idea what any of them are at that point by a glance. Um, and then I'm just gonna do one more quick look here just to make certain that there's no other meaningful items for images. And then, also I wanted to get a chance to cover that you can change out the sides. So left, top, right, bottom, and you can enable or disable any number of these sides. So if I go to run or click the command display side list, it's going to tell me the sides that I can enable or disable. So if I click here, left side is going to get disabled, the right side is going to disable, the top and the bottom. So you have just the text windows now. Then if I go through and enable them all one by one, it'll go through re-enable them. And then if I go to display, oop, doesn't work. If I put a space on it, I don't have the regex pattern for that in. So if I go to display, scroll bars disable. It's going to disable the scroll bars. The reason why this is actually kind of nice is because you can still scroll with the mouse throughout this entire client. Anytime you have the scroll bars enabled. Oh, and one other thing, the scroll bars disabled. After you've disabled them, you're going to need to, I believe, restart or maybe reset um, to be able to get, yeah, restart to be able to get the scroll bar back again. That's going to be a bug. It's going to take me too much time to resolve, considering you can fix the issue with the restart. So so that you're advised of it, once you make that setting change, disable the scroll bars, you'll have to restart to be able to get the scroll bar back again. One thing with the this client is any of the scroll bars, they're not going to actually appear. There's actually scroll bars on all of these consoles, but they actually will not appear until the consoles have text that would fill up the whole screen. I've already written them all out so that I've counted the number of lines possible, even as you adjust the size. I've counted the number of lines possible, and if you reach that number of lines, the scroll bar will appear. Then and only then will the scroll bar appear for these windows here at the side. Otherwise, space was too important. We want to get that extra spacing in to be able to fit that much more text on the screen. And then when the scroll bar or when that text does fill up, the scroll bar appears. It does bump the text over. So I did set it all up to take that into account with sizing. So we'll bump the text over once it actually goes through and makes those changes. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna make a change. I'm gonna save it. So let's go Parthia window, disable automation to get rid of the automations window. So here, you're gonna wind up you're getting all these messages telling you don't forget to save. Um, Anytime you make a setting change in Parthia, it does not automatically save it. That's why you keep on getting these annoying messages. Is it's telling you don't forget to save. So if I save it, I've now saved that to file. This Parthia save all. You can run it, you can click it, and it will save all your setting changes. So you have your client setting changes, your display setting changes, and your automation interrupt data saved. Um, so now you know what, let's go display reset, and it's going to set us back to the defaults, those factory defaults. But if I were going to go to display load, um, it did not successfully load me from file. I'm probably going to need to then restart the entire session. Display load, display, I think there's a refresh. There's a reset, load manager name. So I'm going to actually go through, we're going to see what happens when I reload the client. Pretty sure I was in that ID. So yeah, it's going to I don't have it set up actually to make the changes when you click load. You're going to need to restart. Um, if you think you would actually need that, put in a feature request. I can go through and add that if anybody at all is actually concerned about it. Otherwise, I'm not concerned about it if nobody makes a feature request. At this point, I'm everything with Parthia. I'm going to stop development unless I get a request for something, and then I'm happy to add items in. So that is going to be how you wind up saving, and once you restart the client, it'll load those changes back in, and you can see it's even gone through. And actually, you know what? It does make those settings change after we restart. So I'd still be happy to add it in if somebody wants to do it at real time. Otherwise, it doesn't seem like a terribly big concern to me. Those are the items that I wanted to cover for the display. There's quite a few different settings to be able to have. So I just wanted to go through and show some people that use it some of these abilities that they could do. They might not even wind up using them, but those are some of the features available for you. Again, thank you very much for your interest. And my name was David, and the client is Parthia, connecting up to that old text game, The Eternal City.